So the topic, one world, if I could rename it, be more poetic, it would be the beauty of 10,000 silent things. But before I tell you what I mean by that, I want to put an image in your head. As always, we just need to get silly before we get serious. Have you ever been in a workshop or class or a family dinner that was beautiful? Everything was going smoothly, nicely, everyone's connecting. And there's even that one family member who just knows how to spoil everything. And they've been quiet so far. Or maybe there's someone new. And, they haven't said anything too offensive yet. And all is well. Everyone's enjoying whatever it is, Thanksgiving or Passover or Christmas or whatever. And then it happens, right? Someone says something so rude or offensive or hurtful, or someone is in the workshop and insults the teacher, or whatever it might be. And you look back on that night a few days later, and the poor, fragile, human ego inside you remembers only that. God, if only he weren't there. She really ruined it for everyone. Right? It's amazing. It's amazing how you can be in a group of people and one person steps out of line and it's ruined. The spell is broken. Do you know what I'm talking about? This is important. Sounds silly. This is important. I think it's important. Why? Because we give the ego, which is really doing its very best to stay alive and stay safe and stay loved, is on full alert for anything threatening. And then what happens is it gets triggered. It reacts and responds to the perception of imbalance. And then the soul shuts off. It's like the blood constricting, getting ready to fight. But the energy system constricts too. And suddenly we can't really enjoy the performance because that guy's just so rude. Wish he'd move his head, We can't really enjoy the dinner because she never should have brought that up. It's just not the place. And suddenly we become consumed by what's wrong, by what's out of balance. And so what follows is our perception sees everything out of balance, remembers the time as being out of balance. And strangely enough, this is the tragedy of our world. We were fortunate, and last night we went to see a flamenco performance. And two women were from Spain, a flamenco dancer and a singer. And I don't know, frankly, where the two gentlemen were from, one playing the drum and one playing the guitar. But it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. And I was, surprise, crying with just so much pride and joy for the richness of our world, the beauty of my wife's homeland. And I thought, this is the beauty of 10,000 things. When we turn on the radio, when we turn on the news, when we talk to people about what's going on in the world, we hear the story about the shooting. But we don't hear about the 10,000 other things. We hear the story about strife and conflict and againstness and the horrors that religion and politics conduct in this world. But we don't hear about the 10,000 beautiful other things that are always going on everywhere. Our cultures, our nations, our homes are filled with beauty. People eating dinner together, people growing gardens, people sharing flowers, people singing together. That's what's going on in this world. If you travel, you can even travel to places that are war-torn. And depending on the time of day or the part of the country you go to, what you see is 10,000 beautiful things. Even in times of war, people are still praying. People still play with their children. People still make love. People still write poetry and songs. And this is what makes our world beautiful. It's not about being perfect. It never was. This is what brings one world together. It's not us being the same, but it's seeing how extraordinarily incredible, inspiring, and even miraculous it is to see the way each person, each family, each community, each culture and nation faces their struggle, their sorrow, their loss. And if we listen long enough, we feel through the difference what's uniting us. The longing for purpose, the longing for place, the longing for peace, the longing for hope, and the embrace of beauty. That drive lives in all of us. And so it can unite us. But if we're busy waiting for them to say it the way we want to hear it, or for everyone to behave the same way at the dinner table, we're going to spend the rest of our lives waiting. But instead, if we're fearless and we're willing to listen to the cries, to the anger, and all the incredible expressions of the human experience, dance, poetry, music, food, art, science, and so on and so on. If we're willing to be truly open, then in that extraordinary, abundant, endless diversity, we begin to feel something that is at the heart of it all. A spirit, a love. And then we remember that is in me too. That is my family also. Now I want to keep my comments a little shorter today, but we're going to explore this in our workshop. So we do have a workshop, 12:45 after. And one of the things that I probably will talk a little bit about is just the joy and privilege and pleasure of travel. And one thing that I can tell you as a Canadian is that the world is a friendly place. Everywhere. My wife and I are very fortunate. We have both traveled, and between the two of us, covered a lot of the world. Not always together. And all the stories that we share are of the people that took us in, the people that offered us a meal, the people that gave us directions. It's emotional for me because the very thing that it's made my life so beautiful is the very thing that most of the world seems to miss, and so sits in anger and judgment and frustration. But we can change that. We can change it in our own lives. We can change it in our families. We can change it in our community by listening more, by loving more, by inviting expression, not ours, but someone else's. What do they have to say? What is their story? What have they been through? What is their music like? Why are they different? And what might it feel like to be them? And if you listen into the strangeness of it all, you will find that thing that you're looking for so desperately in the world and in yourself. You will find Spirit, the voice of God, expressed through each and every moment. So let's close this reflection on the beauty of 10,000 things. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And in this moment, much as we did in the beginning, but there's certainly never enough time for this, in this moment I invite you to send a prayer, light, love, for the people and the places struggling, for those who feel separate, for those who have not yet seen or are in a moment where they cannot see the beauty of this one world, one family, one love. Imagine that together, amplifying each other's prayers and intentions, we can send a light so healing that it will plant a seed in every heart of every struggling story, every struggling soul right now, a seed that will grow with brilliance and will spread love and peace throughout this world that we share. Amen.